fact about GINA, she used to work at Lush and I used to work at Lush.
Yes.
So
I love that.
True OG, like
Lush.
teenage years spent working in retail.
Love that.
I loved Lush. I love Lush so much.
It's got a part of my
favorite.
heart. It really does.
It really has shaped me as a person.
Totally.
Honestly.
For sure. Roll the intro. Well, welcome back to Poddy Talk,
the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Torrin. You're trying to steal the whole slag line, of course.
And today we have an amazing guest on the podcast. We've got GINA SHKEDA here. And I don't even know.
You did it right. You said it right.
I was nervous. Sometimes your last time I always butcher. So I was like, Jaclyn, you've got this. But I always find it so interesting on how to introduce you because you aren't just your average beauty guru. You're not just like an influencer. You're a true creative. You're a painter, videographer. You really do it all. How do you describe what you do?
Yourself, yeah.
Like you said, like I honestly have so much beef with the word like influencer because I just don't really think that that's like a thing in the real world. I probably consider myself just like an overall creative, just whatever kind of gets me going creatively and artistically. Like I usually know when that moment hits me, when I try something new and something just like sparks me, then I start like doing it all the time. It just like fully consumes me, like 100%. And then I kind of try to find a way to like pay my bills with it as well.
Of course.
So I feel like it's just like anything that I really love like artistically.
That's
like
so
what
awesome.
I'm doing. Yeah. I've always had a really hard time like describing my job, I guess, like my job description, because it's never like,
it's always
you're very
consistent.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
It's very different.
When you can be such a multi-hyphenate and not offer just one skill. Like I feel like that's so 2020. Like now no one can just be, you can't just be a singer, you can't just be an influencer or whatever. You have to be offering your clients and your audience so much. And I think you do that in such a cool way.
I also think as a creative, it's like so important. Well, obviously diversifying what you're doing, because I think the whole thing about working in a creative industry is having that passion and that fire. So now you have the opportunity to say, hey, if benefit comes to you and goes, hey, can you shoot this video when we're on this trip? You can be like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I want to do that. Or if a brand says, hey, we'd love to work on a makeup video on your YouTube channel. Like you have the option to pursue what you really want. And I think with any type of art, that's when you get the best content or result or whatever it is.
Totally. Yeah, 100%.
And
I think it's just like important to like stay creative, because I feel like you can't do one creative job without like also having other outlets, because then you just burn out and then it's just a mess. Like you need a bunch of different ways to kind of be in it, you know?
Totally. And you have such a different sort of like humble beginnings because you've been all over the place. You've moved a bunch. So how did you initially find your footing in the industry, and then how did you get to basically where you are today?
I feel like I got really lucky with the timing, because I started when I was, oh my God, I think I was either 16 or 17. And this was like pre like this whole influence marketing thing. YouTube was a thing already. I grew up kind of watching YouTubers, but it wasn't like Instagram wasn't a thing. I think it was maybe Instagram's first or second year when I started. So I was just like posting makeup. I was playing around. I was like a 16-year-old, like playing around with makeup and posting it. And then it kind of, I guess, just like evolved with that. And I got really lucky to like be able to pay my bills with it. But it wasn't really ever like, oh, okay, like I want to do this because I want to like be a makeup artist, or I want to do this because I want to be like Instagram famous. It was just kind of like a thing that happened. And I feel like that for a lot of influencers, like the OGs, like when Instagram just started, that was kind of the case, because it wasn't a money-making thing. Like you couldn't make $1 off of it. Yeah,
that's what I always say. And of course, there's always going to be those people that in modern day start it for the right reasons. But there was something so special about that time on YouTube, and even just that time on the internet before. I mean, I think that was the time I knew there could be kind of a bit of a business with it, because that was when like the Bethany Modas were like doing Aeropostale, and like, so I understood how big it could be, but that was never the initial beginnings of it. So you kind of miss that nowadays. And that's why I feel like the whole YouTube landscape has changed, because people realize money involved. So everyone's trying to get into it.
Yeah. And it kind of like, not to say it ruined it, because I love social media. I feel like it's one of the most amazing tools for business and to connect, really. But it's just like the whole business aspect just completely overwhelmed it so hard that it kind of like killed the artistic and just like the creative aspect for a bit. So it's just like finding that balance has been a little bit like difficult lately, but I think it's like the most amazing business tool like ever.
How do you find the balance How do you find the balance? Because I know you were someone that was posting like every single week. You didn't take a break longer than 2 weeks for what, like 5-6 years of your YouTube life.
Yeah.
And lately I feel like you've been a lot more intuitive of, hey guys, I need a month off. I'm going to do this when I feel inspired. How do you navigate that?
It just like, I think because I was so young, right? And because it wasn't really a thing, like my parents weren't like creatives in any way, shape, or form at all. I never really like introduction to like burning out and like, how to like stay creative without like everything going to shit and like also making it your job as well. I never really had that like talk with anyone. So I just kind of had to like crash and burn in order to understand what the fuck it was. And I did really, really bad. And I think that's what kind of made me like step back and be like, okay, listen, like this is all fun. This is great. This is the most amazing job on the planet. But like mental health is truly like, if you want to keep going creatively, like you literally have to take care of your mental health. Because if you don't, then you won't even be able to do this job at all. Like you really have to take a step back once in a while and just kind of like let yourself breathe. Because it was like, I went through some shit where I like burnt out so hard.
I think it can be so demanding too when, I mean, this is a very specific job where not only are you putting out the content all the time, but then you also have all these eyeballs on the back end sort of demanding content. And so you have this sort of give and take of, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for people to enjoy your content as well. And I think that's why it's so common for, especially I feel like in the YouTube world, people can really go balls to the walls. It's like, it's so intense and they can lose track of literally the mental health side of things. They're just doing it to put out content for other people. So I
well,
feel that.
It doesn't help that it's like so demanding as well, right? Like with social media, if you don't post within a month, then your channel won't be recommended.
And the algorithm is just doing you dirty.
Algorithm, exactly.
That's terrible.
It's so bad, and I hope that it's kind of like going towards the right direction where it's treated a little bit more like music or like acting and stuff, where people do realize that you do need a break once. You can just work nonstop for like 12 years.
I know,
like,
it's a really strange expectation in this creator world that everyone has to be on all the time, and
especially given that majority of the content is free, like you don't pay for a
exactly.
It is crazy, but that's also the nature of it. But I also feel like that's why apps like TikTok are thriving now, because the algorithm does support a random person who has no followers, a random 100%. Video, and it's off. Whereas, that could have been what YouTube was like, but the algorithm doesn't do that anymore. So that's like the beauty of that app right now. I think that's why we're also attracted to it, because it is like so the most random.
So fun.
That is how I've been spending my full quarantine every day. I'm just like,
I hate how fun it is.
It is everything that Vine was and better.
It's so good. It's so addicting, and it's the dumbest app. I love it so much.
It's so also just great to be at the beginning of an app. Like I feel like TikTok is where Instagram was 10 years ago, when it was just this sort of like free for all, like anyone could be famous, anyone can post what they want. Like I just love that. It's like democracy at its best, but in an app.
Totally. No, I want to try. It's true. I want to chat a little bit more about kind of the beginnings of you starting and finding your footing in your career before YouTube was that. I know you ended up going to makeup school. Was that a like direct path that you knew you were going to follow, or was that like, oh, I'm making makeup videos, so I should go to school for it?
It was more so, well, like the reason that I picked like film school I did makeup, like I did the makeup program, but I also just wanted to be in film school because I knew that they offered like so much more like about lighting and about sets and stuff. It was kind of, if I didn't want to do makeup, I could go into film kind of deal. So it was really good for that. But I think originally just like this whole post-secondary thing in general was just me like freaking out about going to post-secondary because all my friends were going, and I didn't want to, like, I knew that I wanted to go the like art route, like the creative route, but I didn't know how to because I was just so young. Like I didn't know how it works.
That was totally me.
I think it was just that pressure to like go to school, but I didn't know what school I wanted to go to because I didn't want to go to school. So I like picked, I guess that's where makeup school came in. I don't think it was necessary at all, but it was there, and I just like, I'm happy it was film school and not just makeup school, because I don't know what I would do with that.
I was going to say, it probably makes so much sense now looking back and being like, oh, well, this like was the step for me to get more into videography and into
totally.
Like, you had that full understanding, which like you say, you need to wear all the hats now doing YouTube. You need to shoot your own videos. You need to be your own editor, your wardrobe stylist, your makeup artist. But now you have the skill set and like the tool belt to actually facilitate it all, to the standard that you want to.
Yeah, something about the creative industries especially are so interesting because I feel like in no other job can you learn more than when you're just simply on the job.
Oh
like,
my God,
it's
totally.
one of those things where it's like, I want to be an actor. Okay, great. Yeah, you could go and study and
go act. Yeah.
But then it's like, just go act. Like, you'll never know what it feels like to be on set or working with a director until you've done that. And it's the same for most creative industries. I mean, my boyfriend as well went to film school, and he's like, okay, I learned way more working on a film set for 6 weeks than I did sitting in class. So
I completely agree. And that's why whenever people like come to me and they're just like, do you think like art school is worth it? Do you think film school is worth it? Do you think like makeup school is worth it? I'm like, it's just like depends what you want out of it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you want to go into like for example, for film school, if you want to be in a union, then yeah, it's worth it because they will provide you with the certification, they'll provide you with the connections. Totally. But if you like want to be an independent filmmaker, then no, it's not worth it. Why are you going to film school? Like, just make stuff. And that's kind of the same thing with like art school and just makeup school in general. I'm like, just do it.
The nice thing that it gives you is time to create, which I think is like an interesting concept of like time to create without the pressure of it being a job. Like, I feel like some of the work I created in university was things obviously I may not use today, but there's like elements that I'm like, oh, that was so interesting that I did that. I had time to like think about that and come up with that concept. I think that's what, I mean, right now we have it in quarantine, we have time, but typically we don't have just this like open-ended time to create stuff. And I feel like creative people need that. Like,
and even just like a safe space to fail. Like, sometimes
100%.
I think, especially when you are more in the public eye, it's like everything you do is criticized, so that might influence what you do next, because
and what you share. Like, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not going to share this one painting because people are going to think I'm lame.
Yeah, well, I heard this amazing thing. I don't know if you guys listened to Samantha Ravindall's podcast, and she was saying this thing at the very beginning when she kicked it off, saying, I'm consenting to learning in public. And I kind of love that, because it's the idea of, we're all learning and growing. Like, I will say things that aren't accurate. I will do things that I've changed my opinions on, and I'm consenting to giving you this most genuine, raw version of myself. I know that sounds like a little whatever, and that's the truth. I'm consenting to learn and to grow in front of everyone and have it documented.
Yeah. And that's very like intense.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It's also just like, someone can define you by what you did, 5 years ago. Like, I know, especially for you, GINA, you had, and this is actually the first video I ever saw of you, was your like drunk makeup tutorials when you're like 17.
Yeah.
And
that will haunt me fucking until the day I die. Like, it really will.
How do you navigate trying to, I guess, reframe that maybe perspective that people would have on you?
I think it's just, honestly, like, I've come to terms with the fact that I really like can't control what people have like as an overall image of me. Like, I literally don't care anymore. If I cared, like, I would go insane by now. But for me personally, I'm just like, the right people that see that and then they see me as a creator now, like, most people can put 2 and 2 together and be like, okay, she was 17. Like, this was a joke. Like, this whole thing was not real. Yeah, like, it wasn't a job. Like, I had so much fun.
I was this morning going back through all of them. I was like, oh yeah, this was YouTube. We were thriving, baby.
That's what it was, right? Like, it wasn't my job, and it wasn't like a thing. And I was thinking of it in the scope of like, okay, like, I'm going to be in the public eye. Because when I was younger, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, YouTube is just fun and games. Like, I'll get a real job in like 2 years. Like, it wasn't, I wasn't treating it like that, where now as an adult, I'm like, okay, shit, like, everything that I do with my career, I will still stay a public person. But before that, it wasn't like a thought in my mind. So I was just post whatever I want. And it was honestly so embarrassing.
So funny. I was watching, it's sort of relevant, but kind of not, but also just a funny segue. I was watching The Social Network, the film, last night, because again, my boyfriend's like into film, and he's like, David Fincher, director, we have to watch it. So anyways, but there was a really good quote in it, because it was when they were creating Facebook, and this girl gets into a fight with Mark Zuckerberg, and she's like, the internet is written in ink, not in pencil. And like, literally, and it was like this whole thing about how he had kind of slammed her online, and she's like, that's permanent now. Like, you have like made a permanent comment about who I am. And I just think I was like, snaps, like, beautiful.
That's
beautiful
so weird. It's so weird that you bring that up. The other day I was on, have you guys ever gone on the Wayback Machine to like go through like the internet, like through the years? Okay, so it's basically like an archive.
Is this what you're doing in quarantine? She's like,
I'm like,
that stresses me out.
What are you doing?
So it was something so random. There's this one picture that I was looking for. I went through every single hard drive, every single like digital photo album I had, and I couldn't find this one picture. And I knew that I had posted it on my Instagram one time, but I think I had deleted it. And this was before the archive tool was a thing, which is so annoying. So there were so many like hilarious Instagrams that I just had wiped.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was trying to go through the Wayback Machine because it'll like pull up what that page looked like. You can put whatever date. So it can be like December 2014. And it'll pull up what the internet was on that day and like what that page was. So I was trying to get there, and I was like totally deep diving on the Wayback Machine. But that is a perfect example. You can delete it off of your YouTube channel today, but there's an archive of it somewhere, which is like
everything's permanent.
Theory, but also the reality.
I'm kind of into that as an adult. Like I'm into that because it really holds people like other adults responsible. You know,
I agree.
But thinking about like teens, like I always see people like post even stupid TikToks. I'm like, oh my God, like delete this right now. Like this will haunt you until you die. Like delete it. It just like stresses me out so much for like the generation that never had that like transition phase. Yeah. Where they learned that. Like they're just posting.
I also feel like we had it harder because there was a lot of repercussions, I feel like, when we were growing up, in the sense of like, if something landed on Facebook that was inappropriate, even if it was on Facebook, you could still literally be expelled from school. Like there was this correlation between the online identity you're creating and the identity you have in person are somehow very tied together. And there was already this like, at least by high school, this intense, like if you're online bullying, you can literally be expelled or whatever. There was like a correlation. And I feel like now we're like slowly moving away from that. Like I don't know how much schools are like involved with like TikTok. Like if you post something on TikTok, are you and it's inappropriate.
Agree, but I think people are much more lax. Like I remember back in high school, like it'd be like, oh my God, don't post a picture of someone holding a bottle of alcohol. Like that picture can't exist.
You will lose a job.
That you will lose jobs. That was such a thing.
Yeah, like
people are like, you'll never get a job again.
Totally. And so like that was a scary thing in high school, whereas that I feel like is totally lax. And I mean, still illegal. Let's be clear. We're doing a podcast, like, but that isn't something to get expelled or like whatever over. But I've seen there was a TikTok that someone had posted, like these two students from this random school, like in America. And it was like this horrifically racist.
The racist one.
Yes. Did you see that?
God. It's
the TikTok had like over 200,000 retweets. Everyone was calling them out, putting their full names. And the school made a statement.
It's like they're done. Like they're expelled. Like they'll never get a job. They all like all the universities in the area like blacklisted them. Like they've ruined literally their entire lives over this.
I mean, that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want.
Right?
Like I want
exactly
people to be held accountable. But I was just thinking maybe it has gone a little more laissez-faire. But I mean, maybe it hasn't, and I would prefer that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Accountability. We love it.
Accountability. Exactly. Love to see it. Don't be an idiot.
Until I say something stupid on my next reality
and then I'm like,
or something, and
delete it.
But that's also the thing. It's like, sure, it can be a little daunting, but it's also like, I trust myself. I know in general, I'm a good human. Yeah. It's like my worst, like, I don't know. I just don't, someone that is going to say something that horrific or be that horrible, they are just a bad person.
Already like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to screw themselves over one point or another. It's going to come out. So
that's what I mean about accountability, right? It's just like, it just makes it come out easier. It's not the fact that like internet's exposing. It's like, no, it's just like more, you can
we just have a window into your horrific mindset. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all it is.
It's so funny too. I was stalking you. I don't know how to put that lightly.
I love that.
I was stalking you on YouTube this morning. And again, this is kind of a segue, but I was like, oh my God, I have to ask her. Because the first thing obviously everyone goes to look for is like followers, likes, whatever. And you don't have your subscribers public on YouTube. Speak to this. Why was this? What inspired this? I loved it. I was like, wait, this is so like,
it's like a subtle flex. It's like, I don't get it. Like,
if I could completely wipe like followers and likes off of all of my platforms so like nobody could see, because I think that like especially when you're younger, like adults not so much, but like a little bit when you're younger, you like it really impacts how you're viewing the content.
For sure.
Because you're like, okay, cool, like is this popular? Like how many people like this photo? Like how many people are watching this video? It really kind of like impacts what it is. And I hate that because it just like I don't like that. Like, I feel like you should focus on the content. Like, I spent so long, like, working on a video, for example. And it's like, wait, you're not going to click it just because I don't have enough followers kind of thing. And yeah, I think that was, like, my thought process. I'm like, don't worry about how many followers I have. Like, do you like the content or not? Like, if you don't like it, then that's fair enough. but if you like it, then it shouldn't matter like how many followers you have, you know?
That's so interesting.
So fascinating. Like that you say that and you have a literal army of like followers and subscribers behind you. But I agree. I think it can muddy what we talked about, like the creative spirit of it.
Yeah. And even it's just because that I noticed that it was kind of the same for me. Like I would, not to creators necessarily, but like celebrities, for example, like I would look at like how like relevant they were, like how popular they were. And I was like, why does it matter? Like, do I care about their work or do I care about how popular they are? Like, why is that even crossing my mind? And
because you know what it is? It's such a bandwagon effect.
I was just gonna say bandwagon mentality.
Because it's like there's people that I follow online simply because I believe a lot of other people follow them, which is just ridiculous.
Exactly.
And it's like I either actually think they're super annoying and I don't want to be following them.
I hate them.
Like,
or it's not ridiculous. It's just part of like
it's just
like it's a psychological thing.
It's the FOMO thing. You're like, I don't want to not be in the loop. It's everyone else cares about this person.
And then vice versa. There's people like, especially I will say hats off to like Toronto creators that are just like micro influencers in the city that are phenomenal creators. And it's like, I don't care if you only have 5,000 followers. I think your stuff is absolutely amazing. And I'd love to like be on board that. So I don't know. I just think it goes both ways. But I agree. That's chef's kiss to that.
Yeah, that is honestly a power move.
Yeah, I love it.
Man, if I could disable like my Instagram like that, I would be thriving. But I can't.
How many Instagrams do you have right now? You've got your personal.
Oh my God.
You're like gin and tonic, iconic, like
so many.
Cinematography. Like you have so many.
Yeah, I have the 3 main ones, I guess, that I use the most.
And then your 4 private ones.
Damn. Yeah, I got all my private. Like the main one is just oh sorry, my AirPod is kind of falling out of my head. So the main one is like where it's kind of my like work one. It's so weird referring to Instagram as a work Instagram, but the main one.
Work page.
It's the big one. It's the one that has the most followers. Like that's where I kind of would post all the sponsorships, all the like big things, like all the most exciting stuff. And then the everyday gins, I kind of started more for myself just because I couldn't post like everything I wanted on my big one. I don't know why I had that barrier in my head, but I just couldn't.
No,
I think I wanted more of an account like for people in real life that I like knew for them to follow that. Because obviously like people that I meet at a bar, like they don't care about my makeup. Like they want to follow my normal account like a normal person. So I had that for that. And then Gins and Tonic was like my videography one. And then I have like 3 other ones of like future projects that I'm working on that they don't have anything on there, but I have so many. When you like click my Instagram, it's like you have to like scroll through the list of which Instagram you want to log into.
Accounts.
Yeah.
So funny.
That's so funny.
I have one channel and a Poddy Talk podcast channel, and that's all I got.
I know. Sometimes
honestly, that's all you need.
2 pages. Bouncing back and forth.
I know. I'm like, log in, like, gotta go back. But no, that's.
I always have such a like identity crisis every time I want to post something. I'm like, which one do I post it on?
Yeah. Which account does this speak to?
Literally.
I think that's so funny. But you have this super cool, like, big sister energy, but like the cool big sister that you want to be, but like a person you can go to for advice. Like you have this amazing energy that you just instantly feel connected with, and you're like kind of a no bullshit kind of person. Do you ever regret, because I feel like you are so open and honest about everything, every aspect of your life you share, from your boob reduction to, you know, when you were 18 drinking on camera, like you give so much of yourself. Have you ever had a moment where you go, oh, I need to pull back? And
I pull back all the time. Oh my God, I wish that I kind of was better at that, but like it's a learning process for sure. It's like there's certain things where I'm like very vocal in public about that. After it, I just kind of like reflect and I'm like, wait, okay, never again am I gonna like post it. Like especially, I'm referring more to like relationships, because all of my relationships have been extremely public, especially like my long-term one, like with Max. I mean, I'm sure people already know that, but it was very public, right? And that was definitely a learning curve for me, just to kind of like pull back on certain things that I'm sharing about my relationships starting from then on. And it really, it's a learning curve every time. I'm just like, what do I want to share? Because you want to be personal, but you don't want to like give your whole life away to a point where people are just like dissecting your relationships completely, because it can impact it, right?
100%. I found it really interesting, and I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast before, but I remember being in LA on a press trip, and I was with like, you know, some of the like huge blogger girls, whatever, on a trip. And I thought it was so interesting because one of the girls that I've literally been following for probably half a decade, love her content, she was talking about her boyfriend. And I was like, I thought I knew everything about you. And she's like, oh yeah, I've been dating this guy for like 5 years. And it was just, but just
Oh my
under
God,
the
I don't
table.
post. There's
like,
so
how
much
do
that I don't post. There
It's
is
like,
so
this is
much.
crazy. And I feel like it
Yeah.
was such a nice reminder for me to be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, just because we think we know these people on a certain level, it means
Right.
nothing. Like they are
Exactly.
choosing how we are consuming their life and what we know about them, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely not share it all, because
I've gotten better at that the older I got. When I was just starting out and when YouTube just started being a thing for me, I would like overshare. Like I would post everything, every fucking waking moment of my life was like online.
Yeah.
And a little bit like as you grow, obviously you realize like what you want to keep to yourself and stuff. And also just because I started kind of like I don't want it to impact my relationships, right? Like I don't want a guy to like start dating me and be scared that all my followers are gonna like scrutinize his life and like attack his ex-girlfriends, because that has happened before where people where we like I break up with somebody and they like start attacking whoever they're dating next. I'm just like, don't do that. Like don't
that's
do
so
that.
unfair.
And I think that's what it was for me to kind of like push back a little bit. Like I share to a point, you know, but it's a very certain extent.
Fine line. Yeah. No, I think we're all navigating that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard to kind of know when to, right? Like, cause I do want them, like, I want my supporters to like know everything about me. That's the point of like this relationship. But then I'm like, okay, how far is everything though?
It's true. You know? It's so true. Yeah. And I feel like also once you've been burned kind of in that way, like once it has happened where you've been in a relationship where it's maybe not gone well on the back end, publicly, then you're like, oh, maybe this is something I should keep to myself. But you're right. It's like so unique.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine not sharing my boyfriend just because I've always shared him. But then it's like, oh, if something were to go wrong, like how do you publicly address that? Like maybe you don't want to, and then it's this awkward.
That's what it. Yeah, and that was kind of like my biggest learning curve is when the breakup happened. It wasn't like during the relationship, like I would share all the time. It wasn't like a thought that crossed my mind. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm sharing too much. But it was when the breakup happened and like multiple, like I've had so many public relationships.
Right.
But when all of the breakups happen, that's when people are just like flooding your DMs. They're flooding all your comments. They're asking them, like they're flooding their DMs. And I'm just like, I don't want this
guys,
to, like,
I'm fucking
be a part of
heartbroken.
it.
Can you maybe leave me alone?
Right.
Well, you'll see and it was comment and like analyze like, oh, at 10 minutes, 58 seconds, the way that they looked at like so-and-so, you can tell. It's like, what? Like, that's so unfair.
It's a lot. It's so much. And like these DMs, I get it because people do, like, you can't get mad once you share so much of your life that people want to know because you did, like, they're part of this relationship. They feel like they're part of this relationship. But it comes to a point where we're just like, oh my God, these questions, like, I can't answer these. Like, I really can't answer these. Like, I don't know you. Like, I can't.
I don't know you. That's the whole thing.
They're so personal.
They know you, exactly. And to a degree, they do know you, but they aren't the same as a real life best friend that knows everything. So
no, it's so true.
The questions are so personal that I'm like, I just can't answer these. I can barely answer these questions to people I do know.
Yeah, sorry, Kathy953. You do not need to know this intimate detail of my life.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
What I think is so cool about, this is like, I mean, less work related, but just about you as an individual, I find you super inspiring because you have picked up your life and restarted not knowing anyone, moving across the world multiple times. You're such an advocate for go and just do it. How do you just go and do it?
Yeah, how do you just go do it?
I think like the best learning, like life learning experience that you could possibly have is to just be completely out of your comfort zone, like 100%. I feel like once you start kind of getting into like a comfortable routine with whatever, like with work, with relationships, with like life, like overall general, then for me, like once I start feeling it, I'm like, no, like something has to change. I need a career change. I need a life change. I need something to shake me up because then I'm like not learning anything, I guess.
No, it's so true.
And yeah, and I feel like the biggest learning experience you could really have is like living somewhere that you don't know anyone, or like a completely different country where you don't even like know a language or something. I feel like it's the best experience, and it honestly has taught me so much.
Where are all the places that you've lived?
So I grew up in Russia. Like I was born and kind of halfway raised in Russia, and then I moved to Vancouver. So I think that's actually where all of that comes from, like me thinking that I should like move all the time because it's such a learning curve, is when I moved from Russia to Canada. Obviously, I was such a kid, like I didn't register like that. I was 10, but that like culture shock and just that whole experience, like it completely shaped me as a person. And then I wanted to kind of repeat that as an adult. And so I moved to London. I lived there for like, I think a year and a half. And then I moved to Toronto because I didn't want to move back to my hometown.
Yes.
Cool.
How do you like
wanted
Toronto?
something new.
You've been here for what, like a year and a half almost now?
A year. No, just a year.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Just past a year. Yeah, I love it. It's exactly what I like envisioned for myself as like a young adult, like starting like what, like I'm working on a business that's like really low key. We're not gonna talk about it, but like as that vision that I like wanted for myself in my mid 20s, like early 20s, like I really wanted this like city where everything was happening, and Toronto's literally that. Like there's always something going on. Everybody's like young in their 20s, 30s, like everyone's hustling. It's perfect. I fucking love Toronto.
You're living the artist dream in this cool minimalist loft. Like, I feel like I even want to watch your like aesthetic, like making coffee in the morning. I'm like, oh, she's just living this life. I just need this. Tell me about your amazing loft.
Oh my God. I love this place. It's so, okay. I've gotten so many messages about it where people are like, how did you find this place? Like, it's so, because it's like a commercial studio that was kind of made live-in,
right?
Which it wasn't even built to like be an apartment. And I was like, honestly, like if you saw this place from the outside, like nobody would take it. Like nobody would take it.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. It's above like an old ass car shop. Like it smells like gasoline and glue every waking moment.
Oh my God.
Like, trust me, nobody would take it, but it's the most like, I love it. The most aesthetic, I guess, like most aesthetically pleasing thing. And I just really love, like I've always really liked really interesting like places,
architecture.
It adds character.
Architecture. Yeah, I really like that.
I also just feel like that square footage is so unheard of. Like you've got like actual room to move around. Like what you're looking at right now, this is my entire, like I love my place, but this is my entire place.
Girl, I know. The loft that I just moved out of, like it was an insane location. It was like King Street. It was so perfect, but it was like $500 more than this place, and it was literally tiny. Like there was no room. I couldn't have a living room. Like it was either my lights had a room or I had a couch, and I just needed kind of both. Like I couldn't do that anymore.
No, you need to sometimes find a happy marriage between
spread
the two.
out.
Yeah.
So other than painting and playing Sims 24/7, what has quarantine life been like now that you've moved?
Oh my God, no, I feel like I need to add that disclaimer. I honestly only played Sims once for 12 hours.
Wait, it was just the one day? I thought you were a true stan like me.
Listen, I am. I own all of them. It's like just something I always go back to when it's like shit hits the fan and go to it. But it's always one of those things where I play it like nonstop for like 2 days straight, like actually nonstop. Like I barely sleep, barely eat.
You go through a binge.
I go through such a hard binge, and then I'm kind of like, okay, cool, like that's that.
Over
like,
it.
Let's go. Next thing. What's the next thing?
I'm
so
the same way.
I kind of got it out.
I have to consciously not play it. So this is my game when I was younger. Like Sims 3 desktop, I would put the CD in, like that was my thing. But now I'm such a specific user that I only have my laptop at this house. Like I don't have a desktop or even a mouse. And Sims, you specifically need a mouse to play. I can't explain it. Like you can't use a trackpad.
No, you need a mouse.
So I haven't been playing it at all, which is, I mean, very shocking considering how much time I have to just like do nothing. But
this is over my head.
It's good. Honestly,
Tori's not the Sims life kind of girl, but
I'm just not a video game person. I don't play games.
The concept though, once you play it, I think that you would be hooked. But that's why I'm not even diving into Animal Crossing. I'm seeing everyone just
I
can't.
No. Oh, that'll take over my life. Like I can't have it.
No, I know. I've been avoiding.
I think with Sims, it's like one of those things you play it when you're growing up. Like this is a childhood reminder. Like it's not something that I would pick up now necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's more just like the nostalgia brings you back to peace. Yeah,
exactly. And it was such an escape in high school that now I'm like, oh, this is so great.
I also feel like I always fulfill my like interior design dreams. Like when I was younger, I'm like, I'm gonna be an interior designer. My house is sick. Like that I thought was my future. And that was the outlet to creatively like do it.
That's hilarious.
Dude, when you were younger, I like played it now and I'm like, that's it. Like I'm quitting. I'm becoming an interior designer. This is my calling forever.
No, I would spend so much time making the actual sim, because basically Torri, the concept, like you make your human and like then you make your house and like then you actually like that's just setting up the game. Then you like play the game and they can like have relationships, go to work, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I never play it.
Same. All I would do, I was like, something was actually, I think, wrong with me as a child. I would like just see how much damage I can do to my Sims. Just like lock them, make a house, delete the doors, put them in a pool, delete the ladder out. Like what?
Oh, no.
Oh, I know. I would like kill all myself.
Yeah, you like make them cook macaroni, stop macaroni, their entire house ignites into flames. And like
I feel like
as
this
a kid,
speaks to like who you grew into as a person.
what does that mean?
Like
Don't
shaped
cook
you.
macaroni over here. No, something was wrong.
No, just like ensuing chaos. That's what I mean. Like just like da 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 da.
It's so good for that.
Yeah,
So
that's
true.
hilarious.
Wow.
Well, that's good. So
That's
quarantine is treating you well. You're getting on as best you can, as we all are.
Trying.
That's all we
I'm
can
trying.
And trying to work out. We should talk about that because we're all seeing the same personal trainer, although we haven't in 2 months.
do. Yeah.
How's
He's just so great.
Stell? Stell is a legend, truly.
Love him.
He yells at me.
So, oh my God, he yells at me too.
Yeah. He doesn't yell at
He's
me.
so
I feel
funny.
like I definitely give him the energy of like I'm willing to work hard for him. So I'm just like, let's
Oh
go.
no.
I
I'm
just
like his
appreciate the
worst
banter. Yeah. I appreciate the
so
banter.
bad.
Like I can't do it more. But the thing is, no, I think he actually specifically bullies me because I think like he'll always put like an extra weight. Like, Jack, you got this. Like, I know you got this, seeing you. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I know my limit.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Know
And
my
then
limit, live within it.
he'll try to push
He's
me, and then I
so
get sad when I
hardcore.
can't do it. Like, it's just, I've never sweat more in my life. The stair climber at the very end.
It's just such a like no bullshit energy that I need in my life. Like I show up and he's like, so how many drinks did you guys have on Friday night? And I'm like, okay. Like, and then he'll be like, okay, you can stay on the treadmill for an extra like 15 minutes. And it's just so that it's like, I don't care
Just
what
do
you
it.
do and
Yeah.
like, you can live your life, but like, then I will treat you the way you should be treated.
Yeah.
It's just very funny. I love it. I miss
Or
going
like
to the gym.
he's so much. He's just like I feel like I'm the worst person to like personal train because if I don't want to do it, like I won't. Like I actually just won't. Like straight
Yeah.
up.
I would not do it.
I just won't do it. Like he'll be like, okay, like this is the next machine. I'll be like, no, like I'm not interested. And he's like, no, like you have to do it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
I'm like, okay.
That's my new line. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And I just remember one time he was just like, oh, like what like what did he say? He was just like, so like how did you do this before? Like how do you work out? I'm just like, I don't know, like I just do what I want. And he's like, no, that's like that can't work here. I'm like, no, it will work here. Like I can't do this. Like you're asking me for too much. And I just like went to use a different machine and he was like, oh shit, like okay, this needs a different approach. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's
he, like,
so funny.
Kind of eased off. He like
Like
knows
the
which
Russian in
machines
you
I
comes
like.
out. He's like, I'm not messing with her. If she doesn't want to do it, she's not interested.
Okay, because he's like, oh, he's Greek or something, right? So he's
Yeah.
European. And one time he was just like, oh, like what nationality were all your exes? And I was just like, oh, like, you know, like blah, 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 like British, like Italian, whatever. And he was just like, have you ever dated like a Slavic or like a Greek or something? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, of course, because they like couldn't put up with you. And I was like, oh my God.
That is a personal attack.
Yeah,
It was such a
personal
personal
attack.
attack. I was like, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
That
it's
is
so funny.
so funny. Okay, well,
Like they wouldn't last.
once we break quarantine, we'll all have to do a personal training session together.
Oh,
Me and
he would
Thor did
hate
one.
this. The three of us show up.
Oh.
Like, what's up, Steph?
We would totally
God.
overpower
He would
him. Yeah,
He would 100%.
Not
He'd be like,
interested.
we're not tackling this today. That's so
Oh my
funny.
God.
Well, we like
so
to finish
good.
every episode of Poddy Talk by sharing roses and thorns. So basically this game is like a gratitude game. We like to share
I love
a
that.
thorn, which is something we just got to get off the chest, something annoying or bad, or it could be trivial or big if something annoying has happened over the last week or day. And then 2 roses, we like to outweigh the bad. So 2 good things that have been happening in your life. And then a rosebud, something you're looking forward to. Maybe Jack, you can kick it off.
Yeah, we used to do
That's
this in
so
our like
cute.
personal friend group, and our friends absolutely hated us. Actually, I think I
know
started.
Jack, you tell this story every week. Everyone knows our friends hate this.
I
Okay,
didn't know that.
Every week she's like, our friends hate us for this. And I'm like, no.
I think, but it's just hilarious because now that we do it on the pod, we force everyone to do it, which is just fulfilling my heart because in real life, everyone else would be like, Jaclyn, shut the fuck
I
up.
think they're getting better. People are more aligned now. People
just like,
appreciate the gratitude.
If you don't want to play a gratitude game, then I'm just like not like you do not
Wait, I love
pass the
it.
vibe check.
Yeah,
Like, don't worry. Okay,
we
thank
love
you.
it.
So I'll kick
Okay,
it off.
let's do this.
A thorn is, you know what? I ran out of my I have like fresh coffee beans that I'll like grind and like put on my French press, but I only have instant coffee because I was doing what's the fluffy coffee? There's like a proper name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the TikTok coffee? Yeah.
I had an instant coffee this morning, which was just like
Not
a
the
bit better.
same. Yeah.
definitely a little or a thorn to start off the day. And then a rose is, you know what? We have a blue sky outside today, and yesterday it was like oddly storming, like snowing end of April is just not the move. So seeing beautiful weather is just like kind of making my soul a bit happier. And another rose is, oh my God, this is gonna be cheesy, but like getting to catch up with you, Gina. We haven't chatted in like so long, so this was nice to have like a forced Zoom call and catch up.
It's honestly like, thank you for like, this is the first time I put on makeup in like 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
We love it. We love
Thank you for
like,
doing
it.
It
Was so great. I was like, I'm getting ready to do something.
So my whole thing when we were starting to shoot this in quarantine, I'm like, this is great. I can like be no makeup, no excuses. And Tori's like, I'm still doing my makeup every day. What are you talking about? So now she set the bar. So I'm like, fuck, now I've got to get ready for this.
You don't have to. I do it for personal reasons. It's just for
I know, but I don't want to sit down as a co-host and just be like the slob that I really am. But.
Just sweatpants, no makeup. No, honestly, a vibe. That's been me for the past month.
Totally. Yeah, no, nice to get ready. And then a Rosebud, something I'm looking forward to is
getting out of this.
Yeah, getting out of this shit. Well, I mean, yes, but also today is Survivor Wednesday. I am a Survivor fanatic. I have just rehashed my love for this show. I used to love it as a kid, just got back into this season, and it's on every Wednesday. So that's my reason right now for life. Every week is Survivor Wednesday. So I'm hyped for tonight.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love
taking the next tour, Gina.
Okay, I'll take it away.
Okay.
Okay, so Thorn is just that it's just been colder than I need it to be. I do my daily walk or jog, and when it's warm, I feel so motivated to go further, and I just feel good. And the last few days, it's just been really chilly, so I just have been stopping at my 5K mark, which is not good, not going above and beyond. So that's a Thorn. Rose would be, so I bucked up and bought this pair of earrings I've been eyeing for like ever.
You bought the Haley ones?
Yeah. So they're like so kind of expensive and like not it. And but you know, when it's just in your head, you're like, I just need these. Like I can't even walk away from this idea. And I had just been spending so many days thinking about it that I was like, you know what? It is what it is. This is it.
Like, do it.
So I ordered them from New York. So they're hopefully coming over the next few days. So I'm really excited for that. And then another rose is I have my boyfriend here to shoot all my work videos today. Putting him to work and maybe like, babe, point a camera at me. It's just nice to not have to do it alone and just have a partner in crime to get some work done. So he's gonna do
And you
that.
said he's into film as well. Like you're so lucky.
Yeah, he's really a proper cinematographer.
He's a cinematographer.
Oh,
yeah, he's a cinematographer. So he's probably listening to me from the bedroom right now.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so I'm excited to just be able to work with him today. And then Rosebud. I've been like really looking forward to like the movies we've been watching at night. We've been really selective over like what we've been tuning into, and like we watched a lot of like Leo's movies. Like we watched what's the dream one? How am I blanking on the name of this?
You know, I'm the worst.
Oh, What Dreams May Come?
No, with Leonardo DiCaprio and they're falling. Oh, Inception. I'm like, what am I?
Oh, yes. So
we've
good.
just been like very thoughtful about these like really epic movies we've been watching. So yeah, looking forward to probably another.
Do you have you ever checked out Sundance Now? It's kind of like Netflix, but it's all independent and it's all, I feel like your boyfriend would love that shit. Cause I'm really I'm obviously really into film and it's so much better than Netflix. Cause Netflix is still a little bit more like hyped up movies and stuff. Sundance Now, it's like a lot of independent stuff and also like big movies, but are like critically acclaimed movies.
Yeah.
So
okay,
good.
Cool.
It's the best.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. One of them that I have on my list that was actually a Sundance production is the one about like the surveillance and like how technology has like infiltrated our world. Adam, what is that movie called? He's fully not listening. He must be asleep.
Oh, I love that. He like zoned out. He's like, nah, I don't care.
I don't know where he is, but I live in a loft, so there's no doors, so he can definitely hear me. I'm like, what is going on? But anyway.
He just tuned out.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. But anyways, it is Sundance, so I'll definitely check that out. Thank you for the reco.
So good. It's so good. All right. Oh my God.
Okay, wait. So
Thorn, Rose, and Rosebud.
Rosebud. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta start off negative.
All right, let's think.
Oh man. I mean, like, I'm gonna try to pick a small negative because obviously my whole experience with this is like lockdown is a negative. Not with this, but with the lockdown.
No, for sure.
Fucking Zoom.
Zoom has been a really big negative for me. No, oh man, I really don't. I've been like trying so hard not to focus on negative shit.
Yeah, maybe we should scrap the whole Thorn thing while we're shooting in quarantine. It could just come like make us fall down.
It's kind of
bad.
It's still good to get anything off the chest.
It's good to complain a little bit. I feel that. I think my like big, I mean, I don't know. Like, really, there's so many bad things happening with this quarantine. Probably just like the fact that I like can't go out. Like, that's my thorn. Like, I just can't, like, I'm a very social person. I really need that like group time with like meeting new people and like, just doing social shit. So that's probably my thorn. Rose, that's the one. Where's that one? Roses.
Positives from the past 24 hours.
Just
like,
positive. Okay.
Yeah, 2 roses. Yeah.
Okay. Probably the fact that I like just get to focus on stuff that I didn't really focus on much in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Like even just like the painting stuff, and like I've been getting back into so many like hobbies that I used to have when I was like growing up or as a kid. Like I used to draw so much. I used to like play piano, and I kind of just like stopped doing that as an adult. And now I'm kind of getting back into all of it. It's been so nice.
Yeah, that's so nice.
So that's probably my rose. And then my other one is that my best friend is quarantined with me, so he gets to deal with all of my shit.
Oh, that's so fun.
the best.
Yeah, we haven't killed each other yet, so that's good.
Good.
It's hard with anyone, no matter how close of a friend you are, like that much time together.
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot.
Totally. But he's definitely, I don't think I could do it if I was quarantined alone. Like I would go crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy
I'm like losing it. I'm fully alone.
Oh my God, you're by yourself. Stop.
Yeah. So it's been like fun. I mean, I can't complain.
It's
like you
been
think of
fun.
You think of how are you doing this?
Oh, I mean, just keeping myself busy.
I was crazy. Oh my God. I mean, fair enough.
It's moments like this though, like the humanizing how isolated you feel, and like being able to Zoom, and like I've been talking to people probably more than ever. So sure, it's not the same as like the real thing, but at least I've been having way more conversations, I feel like, with people, even though it's like FaceTime or this. But
right.
Anyway, side note.
True. Okay, I have another rose, right? No, that was 2 roses.
2 roses, 1 rosebud. So something you're looking forward to in the like short term.
Man, so much stuff. So I started like working on this project like 6 months before this quarantine shit hit the fan. And we were just getting to like the most exciting part, which was like going to meetings with like manufacturers and like suppliers and stuff. And we were literally like just about to start doing all of that stuff, which is like, it's the fun part, right? Like the paperwork and all of that boring like planning stuff. Like I hated that. But now it's like, okay, creative stuff. Like I'm so excited. Yeah. And then it all hit the fan. So I've just been like waiting for everything to end so I can resume that.
Oh, that sounds probably so exciting though.
I know, yeah. I'm excited to hear.
But once like this quarantine thing happened, I was like, seriously, like right now.
Yeah.
This is when it's happening.
That I feel like is something about the timing with everything. Everyone I've talked to, there's been something like major happening, and in their life that has been put on hold in the biggest way. And it's like, could not be the worst timing.
I know.
I'm saying, and even on Twitter, there's so many big tweets of people being like, I just started to get my shit together. Like literally the month that this happened. Like, how does this happen?
Yeah. Well, that's
always just life throwing.
There's no ideal time for a global pandemic, but something about this timing just seems extra bad.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's just the fact that like everyone that I know and like my entire group is like, we're all in kind of like our early mid 20s, so that's kind of when you start getting your shit together. It's like mid 20s, like late 20s. So everyone was on that path of being like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And then it kind of hit the fan, and everyone's like, wait,
like, you thought, bitch. Like,
right?
So
that's what it is. It's like, no, listen, here you go. Here's this as well.
Yeah.
Oh God, it'll pass.
Looking forward to getting out of this. That is a major rosebud. Well, this has been an absolute treat. This was a hoot of a Wednesday morning for me. Highlight of the day. Sure. Thanks for putting on makeup and for coming on the Zoom.
Thank you so much. This was really fun. We'll definitely have to do a round of cocktails to thank you when all of this is over.
Please.
Well, we also, as I was planning this and, I was texting to her, I was like, yeah, Gina's confirmed for 10, whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So we had just started this. We have this new series. It's not out in real time, but when this goes out, it'll be out. We have a Potty Talk After Dark, which is a new bonus episode where we have like a little wine night or cocktail night. We have a resident bartender who joins in and teaches a cocktail. And I'm like, Gina, this is so good for Potty Talk After Dark. I'd have to have you back for one of those, of course.
Yeah, let's do it.
Much longer.
100%.
Very into that idea.
Love it.
Love me some wine time.
We'll link all of Gina's channels and platforms and everything. Go follow every single Instagram account.
Everyone.
And thanks so much.
That's a big ask. There's so many.
Major ask, but they could do it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks so much. This is another
This is definitely much needed. Like, sorry, I cut you off. But
no,
I definitely,
okay. Go for it.
definitely needed some like social time in this situation. So this is great.
Well, whether it's potty talk or you just want to call and have a Zoom, we're always just a Zoom away. So you let us know.
Right here.
Time in the world, baby. Anyways, this has been an episode of Potty Talk, the podcast where we
shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And that was Gina.
Gina.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.